WTO membership is comparatively less, has less number of countries when compared to the countries which are, having Coca-Cola. Then, it is also said that Coca-Cola formula is the costliest secret of this particular one decade. Then we have McDonald's, Gillette, DuPont, IBM, L'Oreal. So these are some of the strong brands that MNCs, multinational corporations, have created over the years. And any product coming from these companies can be very comfortably and easily sold across the globe. Here, we can identify when we are talking about international positioning, there are two different types of, understanding we can realize. One is high-tech products. The other one is high-touch products. First, let us see what are high-tech products. As you all know, technologically advanced products that come under electronic segment or consumer durables, we can call them as high-tech products. And these high-tech products are further classified as technical products, special interest products, and demonstration products. Why it is important is high-tech products have to be positioned in a different way when compared to the other products in the market. So when we talk about the technical products, these are the products like computers, chemicals, financial services, etc. Especially, the making of the marketing mix for that particular product might be different and might be very, very specific also. Next, we have some other products called as special interest products. These electronically advanced products are purchased for recreation or entertainment activities. Hence, there is a need to advertise these products by, not talking in the rational front, but by highlighting the interest or the hobbies or the passion of the potential customers who are using these products. Some of the examples under them could be cameras, mobile phones, and sports equipment. Then we have demonstration products. So these demonstration products, why we call them as demonstration? Because the product itself speaks for itself. So there is not specific, explanation and all is required, but showing the product, the usage of the product over the advertisements will bring in the potential customers into them. The examples could be video cameras, gymnastic equipment or gym equipment rather, gymnasium, then musical instruments and all. So these are the high-tech products which require special kind of positioning strategies to be utilized when a company is trying to position, that is, promote these products on the global platform. And the characteristic of potential customers while using or while purchasing these products is lot of primary and secondary research about the product goes into it. And hence, such an information should be made available to the potential customers over various forms of social media or various or on their websites, so that the technically advanced potential customers are convinced about those products. Then, as we discussed, there are high-touch products. So these high-touch products, they are emotionally attached. The potential customers are emotionally attached to the high-touch products. That is why we are calling them as touch in place of tech. And these high-touch products have to be positioned by considering the emotion, by showing the attachment between the benefit, emotion, and the occasion when that particular product can be used over the international platforms. Now, further, these products are classified as products that solve a common problem. That is, these products are purchased uh, to as a solution for those everyday challenges that a potential customer faces. So be L'Oreal products, be it be Cadbury celebrations, these are all positioned as solutions to various issues that are faced by the potential customers on a day-to-day basis, and once again woven across the emotional attachment that the potential consumers have towards these products. For example, Surf Excel advertises saying that daag achhe hai, that is the dirt is good. Okay. Cadbury Celebrations advertises saying that, on a Rakhi day, you can gift it. For your teacher, you can gift it. For a small kid, you can gift these Cadbury Celebrations. For your boss, you can gift it. On a Diwali, you can gift it. So the solution, the positioning is done as a solution. And most of the detergents, Tide is not an Indian brand, but still Tide is sold in India, showing that, by creating a family situation where uh, a family member is off because of the dirt on the clothes, and another family member gives a solution as used Tide, the dirt is removed. Then we have the global village products. These are the products which are cosmopolitan in nature, and they are positioned, you know, uh, by giving this cosmopolitan uh, uh, image to those advertisements or to those promotional uh, ads. Now, the examples could be categories that include fashion. It could be fashion apparel. It could be, that is, fashion textiles. It could be any other accessories that are worn by people, both men and women. Then fragrances, mineral water, pizza, etc. Then we have the third category, like products that use universal themes. So there are certain products which are advertised based upon these universal emotions like love, play, heroism, materialism, because these are same across every culture, across all languages, and across all countries. And hence there could be a common common promotional message, or a common promotional storyline under which a promotional, a positioning statement can be created, a positioning story can be created and positioned or promoted into the minds of the potential customers. Now let us see what are the challenges that companies face when they try to position their products in the international, overseas markets, especially in underdeveloped countries. We can say underdeveloped economies. Underdeveloped economies or developing economies are characterized by very less manufacturing activity. Because of less manufacturing that happens within the country, there is always a need to import goods and other services from overseas markets. And this need to import goods and services is taken advantage by these multinational corporations to provide or to market their goods and services to these underdeveloped and developing economies. So they're all unexploited markets, and there could be many, product lines which are like new products in those countries. Then there is the availability of lot of unexplored resources in terms of land, in terms of factors of production, both natural and human resources. That is, skilled labor could be available. 5 to 10 years back, India was also like that, and hence many outsourcing companies have come to India and established their establishments in India to take the advantage of the less priced skilled labor that is available in our country. And because there is a need for import, whichever company identifies that particular need that particular market will be able to cater or will be able to sell in those markets first. And hence the competition levels are comparatively very low. As we discussed, governments are proactive and they are inviting FDIs into their country, and by giving lot of land and other tax advantages, we have special economic zones in our country where companies of both MNCs or the local companies, domestic companies can open their establishments and take the advantage of all the benefits provided by the respective state governments and the central government. Companies may understand the tastes and preferences of these countries to design and develop products for them exclusively. Now, so here in this unit, we discussed basically about segmentation, targeting and positioning, keeping the international marketing scenario in view. Now let us, try to understand services markets from the international perspective. And the one reason why India is a developed country as on now is our contributions from the service industry is more than 50% to our GDP. And whenever the contribution from the service industry to the GDP is more than 50%, we call such a sector to be, such an economy to be developed economy. Now, how do we define services? American Marketing Association defines services as activities, benefits, or satisfactions which are offered for sale or provided in connection with the sale of goods. So here we are talking about three things, that is activities, benefits, or satisfaction. Why? Because services are very, very vague, in the sense services are intangible in nature. See, there are four basic characteristics of services that make them different from that of the goods. As we already discussed, the marketing mix for goods, or the general marketing mix, has got only 4 P's, that is product, price, place, promotion. But because of the special characteristics of services, marketing mix is expanded into expanded marketing mix or service marketing mix, having 7 P's. That is, we have product, price, place, promotion. In addition, we have got people, process, and physical evidence. If you take educational sector, the process is very important. First, the student should have passed the qualifying exam, then write an entrance exam like ISET or PG set or MSET, then get a qualifying mark, then apply to the counseling or the admission procedure of that particular state, then select a college, pay the fees, attend the college for a particular period of time, then take the exam. Then only the student would have passed that particular semester. If it happens in the reverse order, it will be chaotic. In the same way, we may take hospitality services. In the hospitality services, we include hotels and tourism industry. So first, the booking should happen. We should decide to which particular tourist destination the family wants to visit. Then do all the bookings. Traveling should happen. So the process is very important. People are very important because manufacturing units are getting completely automated. For example, Colgate Palmolive India Limited, its manufacturing units that are spread in India, they are 100% automated. It being, paste, because it goes into the mouth of the people, it should be bacteria free. And because of various reasons, the whole unit is automated, and people intervention is where they are, programming or developing algorithms so that these robots or whatever the automated machines work over there. And physical evidence becomes very important, because unlike goods, we cannot explain or we cannot communicate about a service because it is basically intangible. For that, we need some interior and exterior physical evidence. The minute we look at a hospital, the number of operation theaters, the number of beds, the vastness of it, we will be able to tell whether it's a corporate hospital or it's a dispensary or it's a clinic. And the four special characteristics which because of which the 7 P's have become compulsion are intangibility. Intangibility means one cannot feel, touch, or smell these services. And hence, articulation of services becomes very, very important. The best example I can give you all is, a buffet is ready. The items are neatly decorated, very, very beautifully decorated and kept on the buffet tables. But until and unless we consume the services, we consume those dishes, it is not clear whether, the dish is tasty or not. By mistake, the chef must have forgotten salt. By just looking at the dish, one cannot tell whether that is, what worth is that particular dish. In the same way, the another example could be a cup of tea is available at the pushcart seller on the roadside for 10 rupees. The same cup of tea might be available for 250 rupees or 300 rupees when we go and have that cup of tea in Marriott or ITC Kohinoor or some other 5-star or 7-star hotel. The difference is the ambience, the difference is the place, the difference is the physical environment where we are served those dishes and all. That is intangibility. Now let us see inseparability. That is service seeker, that is the customer, service provider, that is the company, cannot be separated during service. This can be understood if you take the example of a refrigerator. As a lay customer, I am not concerned about how the refrigerator is manufactured, nor I see the manufacturing of the refrigerator. But if a doctor has to operate on a patient, if a teacher has to give a lecture, if the customer is not there, the teacher is not there, that particular service cannot be functional. So service seeker and service provider, both of them have to come together. They cannot be separated. Both have to come together, then only service happens. That is inseparability. Then variability. Variability talks about a service is not consistent. For example, a doctor is there. A doctor must have done 100 operations. But on the 101st operation, a doctor cannot give a guarantee of the success of that operation because the circumstances are different, the patient is different, and the timing is different. That is variability in services. Not only that, a student must have written 100 exams in the past, but 101st exam will be a challenge for the student. While in case of goods, the minute the blueprint is ready, first refrigerator, 10th refrigerator, or 100th refrigerator, it is the same. They can give guarantee and warranty, but in services, it is very difficult. This variability, which is also called as inconsistency, means quality of services depends on who provides them, when they are provided, where they are provided, and how they are provided. Then we have got the last characteristic as perishability, that is called as inventory. That is, we cannot store services for the future. Suppose a company manufactures 100 refrigerators. The company could sell 10 refrigerators this month. They can store the remaining 90 to be sold the next month. But if a bus has to travel from one city to Hyderabad, let us imagine from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, and a bus has got 30 seats, only 15 seats are filled. The company cannot stop the bus because only 15 seats are filled. Once the bus starts, whatever the remaining unfilled 15 seats are there, that is lost business forever. They cannot store them and think of selling them at a future point. In the same way, you can take the example of movie theaters. If there are 400 seats in the movie theater, and if only 100 seats are 100 tickets are sold, the show has to run, and whatever the lost business of 300 tickets is lost forever. That means services cannot be stored for later sale or for use. These four special characteristics of services pose special challenges at the national level and international level to the various marketers of the various products, various services. Now, what could be the differences between goods and services before we try to learn about the international services? First, let us see about the physical goods and services, the differences. As we know, goods are tangible, services are intangible. Goods are homogeneous. That is, the consistency is there in goods. A refrigerator, either you buy first refrigerator being produced by a company or the 100th refrigerator, the quality standards and specifications are met. While services are heterogeneous, it does not happen in services like that. There is always a chance for correction in goods. So the quality check department will check the quality of the goods. And if a particular good is not up to the standards and specifications mentioned by the company, there is a chance to repair it. There is a chance to, replace it. But services, mostly, service, whatever the service mistakes are chaotic. So there is no possibility for replacement of services. Suppose a student misses an exam within 1 second or 1 minute or 5 minutes. Nowadays, all these competitive exams and the end semester or end year exams, they're asked to come much ahead in time and then enter into the examination center. By 5 minutes, if the student is not able to reach the examination center, whatever that lost exam is there, it is lost for that particular year. So there is no replacement or recovery, is very, very chaotic, is very difficult. Just 1 second of mismanagement during driving by a bus driver when the bus is traveling on the highway can be chaotic. Then production and distribution are separate functions in goods, while production and distribution are simultaneous functions in services. That is why inseparability is one of the characteristics. Customers very rarely participate in the production process of goods, while customers are part and parcel of the production process of the services. For example, a patient with a sugar, complaint goes to a doctor, and the doctor gives the prescribed medication. The customer's cooperation is the must. The doctor asks the patient to not to have consume sugar, not to consume carbohydrates, and he gives the prescribed way of consuming the pills and all. If the customer does not follow those instructions, he cannot complain against the doctor that the medication has not worked for him. As you know, inventory, goods can be kept in stock, services cannot be kept in stock. When the goods are purchased, there is a transfer of ownership from the company to the customer. But when services are purchased, there is no transfer of ownership. A patient goes to a doctor with some heart complaint, gets an angioplasty stent operation done or a bypass operation done by spending 2 to 3 lakhs of rupees. When the patient is coming out of the hospital, there is only a satisfaction that, okay, the patient has shown himself to the doctor and he is operated, and now his survival chances are better. But there is no guarantee, nor he owns anything, for the 3 lakhs or the 2 lakhs he pays in the what we call hospital. In the same way, a student spends around 16 years of his valuable time for education purposes. At the end of the 16 years, what the student is carrying with him or her are 2, 3 certificates like TC will be there, or bona fides will be there, and the pass memos or pass certificates will be there. And more than that, there is no ownership that the student has. The only ownership the student has is the knowledge that he or she has gained over these 16 years, which enables him or her to make a living, legally, legitimately in the society. Then we have the example of tourism industry. A couple or a family goes for a world tour by spending 5 to 10 lakhs of rupees. And once or at the end of the world tour, when the couple comes back, there are only memories that come back with them, and there is no transfer of ownership. They don't have any physical thing in their hand. Then goods can be stored to be sold later, and services cannot be. Services are time sensitive. They are perishable in nature. Uh, in the sense, this semester I joined, or this year I joined a course. I cannot complete this course after 2 years or 4 years. I have to complete the course this year. Then it is easy to measure and control the quality of goods. Pricing of goods becomes very easy. Patenting is possible in goods, but it is very difficult to measure the quality of services, and pricing of services is also very, very difficult and very articulative. Cost of failure is always, it can always be repaired or replaced in goods, while it cannot be in services. Just now I gave you many examples. Now let us see what are the implications of these characteristics, that is the special characteristics of services in the international marketing. First, let us see the intangibility. So as we have discussed, so that we get a better clarity, I just discussed specifically, especially the service characteristics and differences between goods and services. As we all know, storing a service is nearly impossible. You cannot store a service for a future. Maintaining consistent quality in services is difficult. Setting the price is also difficult. Now, the tea at the pushcart seller, which is priced 10 rupees, might be more tastier than the cup of tea a person has at Marriott or ITC Kohinoor, where he is paying 300 or 500 rupees a cup of tea. But, both have their own positioning, their own, offer. The communicating and displaying services is difficult. How can an educational institution say that they impart the best education in the market? How can a hotel claim that they provide the best service and they provide the best food in the market? How can a legal firm claim that they are the best auditors in the market? How can a retail company, a retailer, say that they provide the best products in their supermarket? So like that, public utilities are there, gas distribution, electricity distribution, water distribution, plumbing services. They're all, it is very difficult. Then protecting services through patents is always difficult. Then heterogeneity, that is inconsistency. It is difficult to ensure standardization in delivery of services. 10 times we may have been to the hotel, and the hotel gave us the best of the food and the best of the hospitality. But 11th time there was a small fight with the watchman for parking purpose, parking of the vehicle purpose. And that unpleasant interaction with the hotel might be remembered by the potential customer and make him forget all the 10 successful interactions in the past. That is the complexity of the service. A doctor who has performed 1,000 operations cannot, take it a reason for, not making his 1,001th operation successful, or being negligent at 1,001th operation. The impact of cultural differences between different markets are very, very important when we talk about services, because the 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 food, the attires, the hospitality, the way the hospitality has to be expressed, the way the food is the food is consumed, the education system, the government laws, the rules and regulations. These all bring in lot of differences between market and market. When a company wants to establish a service company in a foreign market or market its services in the foreign markets. Then, consistent quality of services, maintaining consistent quality is also a very big challenge. And this inseparability, presence of customer required for the delivery of the service is also a very challenge, because the customer cooperation is important, and hence the customer training, customer knowledge, and customer participation in making the service successful is also important. For example, banking transactions, financial services, then legal services, educational services. Here, the customer hospitality services, hospital services. Here, the role of customer is equivalent and sometimes more when compared to the service providers. A service cannot be mass produced. So service establishments, the capacity of the service establishment is also important. For example, simple example of a bakery we can take, or a hotel we can take. Weekends are there where there is a lot of demand, and weekdays comparatively less demand. Just because weekends there is more demand, the hotel cannot expand its you know its place and take huge place on rent or purchase, because that may be or may not be financially viable, because 5 days not much of the demand, and 2 days lot of demand. Secondly, uh, the capacity cannot be increased beyond a particular level. A hotel, or let us take a education industry, that is a classroom, number of students, the batch, the number in the batch, a cinema theater. The first week of the release of the movie, there will be more demand for that movie, and the number of seats within the cinema hall will be less when compared to the people demanding for that tickets. But after that first week, might be the number of seats will become more. So, to what extent the uh, uh, the utilities or the various services within, that is various human skill, that is people who are serving, the AC capacity, the number of seats, they cannot expand. They cannot expand without considering. At the same time, they cannot even temporarily expand also. Because if they put plastic chairs in a movie theater, the working of the AC facility will come down. The people might feel suffocated within the theater. At the same time, the sound clarity might reduce, and the picture quality also might reduce, because there is too many people than the theater can really take up. So the theater room might become more heated up, and more dust particles might get raised in the theater room, because of which the picture quality, the sound quality, the performance of the AC and all may reduce. Now, we started with a bakery. So during January 1st or such special occasions, where there is a lot of demand for cakes, they might take a temporary extension by putting a shamiana or so, and display their cakes and all outside, or keep their cakes and all outside. Or they may also take some strategies of advanced booking and all. So managing this particular uh, you know characteristic that services cannot be mass produced is a very big challenge when the marketers want to expand. Then technology can be used effectively for delivery of a service from distance. Then perishability poses the challenges of not able to store the services for future, that is inventory cannot be done. Then accurately forecast service demand patterns in different markets. The minute they are able to, a company is able to accurately forecast the service demand patterns, it is possible for the services being what you call serviced or promoted in those markets in a good way. Now, what are the challenges in marketing of services? So these implications will give rise to the challenges. And the major challenges that a company faces when it wants to cater its services in the host countries, that is in the overseas markets, are first protectionism, then cultural differences, and difficulty in measuring customer satisfaction overseas. Let us see protectionism. Many governments wants to protect their local or domestic service industry, because no government wants to give access of its service sector to international firms. For example, financial services are well controlled by the government. Insurance services are well controlled by the government. Stock market services. Then we have public utilities that are under government's monopoly or government control, under government control. So it is difficult for, even though they are privatized, but there is very, very, uh, you know, great control of the government, or very close monitoring of the government bodies on those markets. Now, restrictions on rights of establishment, that is 100% for FDI, is not accepted in many countries. There are trade barriers, foreign exchange controls. Many countries make it compulsory that whatever the revenue generation happens by revenue generation takes place by these service marketers, a part of it or some part of it has to be spent in the same country. Government procurement barriers, they are particular where they can procure. Technical issues, tariff barriers, there are licensing regulations. For example, telecommunications, even in India, even though we are very open economy, television, uh, our television establishments, are not open for the uh, foreign companies. It is the government which gives the bandwidth as a lease to various companies. SEBI is there, IRDA is there, which are having close control over the financial institutions. RBI is there, which is having a close control over private and scheduled banks. Restrictions on professionals and commercial counterfeiting. Now, GATS, even though many, countries have signed, GATS, and it covers education, communication, construction, engineering, distribution, and other service sector. GATS, there are few services which does not come under GATS. For example, services supplied in the exercise of government authority, that is social security, public health and education, So these are not covered under GATS. Then air services, that is aviation industry, even though private players are there, it is not covered under GATS. Then I have explained you when I was talking about, four eyes, that is the special characteristics of services and the differences between goods and services, how cultural differences limit the international marketers to, sell their services in a great level. Then it is very difficult to understand the customers in different markets, especially the MNCs tell that Indian middle class is very, very, very different. It's like a black box. They cannot understand because an Indian middle class family is ready to spend 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs on the child's marriage or educational purposes, but they don't want to spend that money on tourism services or hospitality services, on restaurants and all. So how they behave, where they spend the money, where they do not spend the money is very, very difficult to understand. So these are some of the examples of service sectors. Healthcare, under which hospitals, medical practice, dentistry, eye care, pathological laboratories and all are covered. Professional services include accounting, legal, architectural services, etc. Financial services include banking, investment banking or investment advising, insurance services. Hospitality services include restaurants, hotels, tourism, sky resorts, rafting, etc. Travel services include airline services, then travel agencies who book our tourism packages and all, theme parks and all. There are other petty services like hair styling, plumbing services, then counseling services, health clubs, etc. So let us have a bird's eye look over some of the services. So we have international professional services. So that is, it could be, legal services, it could be, consultancy services and all. So marketing of professional services is very difficult because accounting standards differ from country to country, and the local, that is the environmental, micro and macro environmental impact on the companies are different. So extending consultancy services is also a big challenge. And the success of this industry depends on the skill and training of the professionals and continuous updation of those skills. So whichever companies try to establish professional services in the overseas market have to keep this point in view. Then we have distribution services. That is, one aspect of distribution is retailing, international retailing. So the basic functions performed by retailers include, they provide the assortment, that is, manufacturers produce large quantity of limited variety of goods, while consumers demand limited quantity of large variety. I may need salt, I may need sugar, I may need, coffee, tea powder, coffee powder, all groceries I may need. So I cannot go to Tata's for salt, then ITC people for groceries and some others. So it is the retailers who bring all those products and display them in their outlets so that I can go to them at the time I want and buy from them. Retailers break the bulk, they hold the inventory, they provide services, that is, they pay for those goods, they display the products, they, if required, they demonstrate and offer credit facilities also. Now, either you go to Bajaj Electronics or any of these companies or any of the automobile companies, whether they are Indian or foreign, they are having a tie-up with some financial company which will provide us EMI facility. Hence, retailing is the set of activities that markets products or services to final consumers. for their personal or household use. Now, there are two methods by which retailers can expand overseas. That is, a retailer can directly invest. That is, they can enter into an overseas market as a joint venture or establish their own retail outlet in the overseas market, like Walmart. Uh, Walmart in India is called as the Balmart, or you have Metro also. Or they can take the advantage of technology, and instead of having a brick and mortar store, they can have an online portal by which they can kill that particular distance. Example is Amazon. Now, international retailing is expanding because of the following reasons. They're able to use technology. The government regulations have reduced when compared with the past. And because of frequent travel of people across the world, there is a homogenization of tastes and preferences by customers. People tastes and preferences are becoming more and more similar. Most of the economies have improved and the number of affluent customers have increased over the years. Retailers like Walmart, Tesco, and Amazon have already crossed the domestic borders and they are doing great in many countries. So these are some of the key drivers that are driving the retail industry to expand beyond the domestic barriers. Then let us look at the international financial services. Financial services is no more limited to banking operations. Markets for financial institutions in the developed countries have matured, and hence financial institutions have expanded into the other overseas markets. They're trying to explore new markets, use more technology, or merge with other similar organizations. If you see, either the insurance sector or the banking sector or the financial sector in India, most of the Indian firms have joint ventures with international financial institutions, and both of them together are serving in our country. One thing could be they are trying to introduce various types of credit cards, and because there is more international travel, they are forced to come up with international credit cards where the same credit card can be utilized in many countries and they can withdraw currency of that country in that particular country's ATM. Then we have international banking services. So in the international scenario, banking activities are just not limited to simply accepting deposits or providing lending facilities or gold loans. Banks are performing now a whole range of activities from 24 hours, that is 24/7 banking, whatever we are talking about, global of foreign exchange trading, giving, housing loans. They're also opening demat accounts by which we can do stock market trading also with the help of same banks. They're providing hedging products also, and investment banking services are also being provided by them. Then we have international insurance services, especially with the increase in the increase in the global trade, and hence the insurance services also become global. Insurance companies have rapidly expanded into overseas. In India, we were having only one insurance company like LIC, but now you have many foreign insurance companies entering into Indian market. The second reason for the development of the insurance market lies in the insurance company's ability to come up with innovative products. Earlier, it's only life insurance, but now we have general insurance. After, many experiences, they are insuring property, they are insuring lives. A footballer can insure his legs. A beautiful singer can insure her throat or his or her throat. So like that, many products are being introduced into the markets to the extent if I'm traveling by Indian Railways, I can take insurance by paying a very minor price and insure myself during the travel as long as I'm traveling in that train. Like that, bus tickets are getting insured. Okay, so this is how lot of opportunities are being provided by these international insurance service providers. Thank you, friends. Let us meet in the next class. Have a great day.